Good afternoon, everyone. I, Shashank, on behalf of NEN and Vadhani Foundation, would like to invite you all for this webinar and also introduce our expert. Mr. Amit RG is the Business Solutions Manager for Technology and Internet Marketing at Iksula. He's a computer engineering graduate with a keen interest in web. At Iksula, Amit handles business problem definition and business solutions. He's also proficient in a number of fields such as pre-sales, business analysis, technology selection, and planning and designing online marketing strategies for clients. Before I hand over the floor to Amit, here are a few reminders for the audience. You will all be on mute. You may ask a question by typing in the panel provided. Over to you, Amit.
Shashank, thank you so much for the introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Amit, and I will be your presenter for today's webinar. As you all know, today we'll be discussing tips and tricks to leverage e-commerce. I realize the topic is quite broad and maybe a little vague, so let's first jot down what you can expect from this webinar. So here's an overview of what we will be discussing today. We're going to go through what is e-commerce. I believe most of you guys know, but just in case. Next thing we're going to discuss is e-commerce landscape in India. And amongst e-commerce divisions, our main focus is going to be internet retail. That's primarily going to be our focus of discussion today. Then we are going to go through the tips and tricks of selling online, a few tips that we have learned from our experience we'll be sharing with you. And finally, we'll end the webinar by discussing the recent innovations in internet retail and the new business models. Okay. So this guy here is me. My name is Amit RG, and I'm working as the business analyst in Iksula. And yeah, I think that's about it. So let's dive into the webinar. Before we actually dive into e-commerce in India and internet retail in India, it's important for us to understand how e-commerce has performed in India in the past few years and what is the opportunity in the coming ones. So as you can see, that e-commerce is still in the nascent stages in India. However, it has grown stepfolds in the last few years. So in 2011 end, we ended at close to $6.3 billion US, and we grew 139% to close to $14 billion in 2012-2013 end. So that's been the revenues that we've been getting. Now, amongst this revenue, the share of online travel is the highest. So amongst the $14 billion that we've done, close to 78% comes from online travel, which is booking of your domestic air tickets or booking of your railway tickets or hotel bookings. That's all a part of online travel. And e-tailing has been only a small part of it, which is 22%. So close to $2 billion of sales have been done in e-tailing. Now, let me tell you that the share of online travel is significantly higher in the case of Indian e-commerce, because in US last year the share of online travel was close to 37%, which is significantly less. And in countries like China and Japan, the share of online travel to the overall e-commerce was even lower, around less than 20% of the overall e-commerce market. So the key takeaway from these stats is the e-tailing is yet to catch up with the online travel business, and it is expected that by the year 2015, e-tailing would have caught up with the online travel business in India, and both would do close to $12 billion each. Those are the estimations. So moving on. Yeah. So as said before, e-tailing is expected to touch $14 billion by 2015, and let's look at why these expectations and which are the major growth drivers for this exponential growth. So obviously one reason is because of rising disposable incomes. Majority of India's population is less than 35 years old. Lots of them getting their new jobs and getting disposable incomes, which is one reason or one factor of increase in e-commerce. Young and educated population, the literacy rate in India is not up to the mark, but constantly increasing. Increasing internet penetration, this is one of the major factors. So I'd like to show you a graph of how the penetration of internet is increasing. The rise of social media and technology, so how Facebook and Twitter has become a part of our regular lives is also one factor which is impacting e-commerce in a big way. And yeah, for all the entrepreneurs out there, easy access to VCs. So VCs have become increasingly interested in the e-commerce space, and that's one reason why you'll see many of the startups coming in the e-commerce field. And reach into tier 2 and tier 3 cities. The traditional retail has a lot of challenges when it comes to serving the tier 2, tier 3 cities, and this is one problem e-commerce has been able to solve. So as I said, that one of the major reasons for this growth in e-commerce is increasing internet penetration. Let's look at how the penetration in India has increased in the last 1 decade. So you can see that the number of users in million is given on the x-axis, and on the y-axis you have the years. So you can see that nearly 10% of the whole population is online and is being using internet. So that's actually a good number to start. That's actually a good number from where we started. So this is again expected to grow timefolds in the coming years, which will again be a major factor for the growth of e-commerce. So before we dive into e-commerce, as you already may know, that e-commerce does not only consist internet retail. It has online travel and other domains as well, but today's primary focus of discussion is going to be internet retail. So I would like to run you through a few slides discussing on why internet retail and what are the benefits of internet retail over traditional retail. Obviously, there are some cons as well. We'll be discussing both in the next couple of slides. So internet retail versus traditional retail, obviously fuel costs are saved because you do not have to go to the showroom or to the nearest store for purchasing goods. You can order them online at the convenience of your home. There's the largest selection available because keeping into mind the rising real estate costs, it's difficult for merchants to keep large inventory or large stock within their stores and showrooms. E-commerce actually tries to solve that problem because the warehouses are located in rather inexpensive places where the customer is presented with a large selection. Besides, for the customer to browse through this large selection is relatively easier. Convenience, obviously there's this convenience of you being able to order goods and have them on your doorstep. So that's one thing that internet retail has to offer over retail. Competitive pricing value. So obviously when you're buying online, users generally, this is the normal tendency of buyers, not just in India but all across. Whenever you're buying online, you will end up searching for a product on Google and open 3 to 4 windows and compare all the websites and buy together. So obviously this encourages website to offer the best possible pricing to their customers to attract sales. Obviously it's smarter buying because you have a lot of competitors available online, lots of review websites, which makes the consumer online very smart. In fact, this is one reason which is also, I think, which is also impacting traditional retail. So in a survey done recently, it was observed that majority of the people buying electronics offline have actually done their research online. So online is not just driving sales on the websites, but is also being used as a medium to encourage and being leveraged by the traditional retail, because people are using the websites to research on product and then finally purchasing offline. This is a very interesting case study that I thought is worth sharing in this presentation. This is a case study between Walmart and Amazon. So let's go through the major differences. So if you see that the average prices, if you include shipping or sales taxes, the average prices on Amazon are 19% cheaper than in Walmart. The average product shelf life is 33 days in the case of Amazon and 1 month in the case of Walmart. The best-selling product, this is just FYI, the best-selling product of 2010 was bananas in the case of Walmart and Kindle in the case of Amazon. So retail brand ranking, Amazon is ranked #1 when it comes to the retail brand overall, and #1 when it comes to customer service ranking in the US. Whereas Walmart is a little behind. It's at #2 and #10 when it comes to customer service ranking. Now please bear in mind that Walmart, being a traditional retailer, has a lot of overheads and a lot of things to look at, whereas Amazon, because of them coming online and eliminating the tasks and the limitations of traditional retail, they are able to focus more on value-added services like providing exceptional customer service. Because they've got themselves rid of the overheads of running an offline retail shop or offline retail showrooms, they've been able to focus more on services like these. So till date, Amazon has done close to 28 acquisitions, whereas Walmart is close to 15 acquisitions till date. You will see that Amazon is already very aggressive when it comes to acquisitions, because they have spent close to $1.2 billion in acquiring other companies. Its recent biggest acquisition was Zappos.com, and Walmart has spent nearly 1/4 of that, only $300 million in acquisitions till date. When it comes to digital properties, Walmart only owns Walmart.com, whereas Amazon owns many. Kindle, Instant Video, Amazon Prime happens to be some of them, and obviously Amazon Web Services, which is again a very majorly used service, not only abroad but also in India. Home delivery services. So Amazon Fresh started in April 2007 in Seattle, and Walmart to Go began testing in San Jose in April 2011. So both started around the same time. So both are on track there. It's projected, if they both go at the equal rate they're performing at, it's projected that Amazon will surpass Walmart's revenue in the year 2024. Now these are just projections. Obviously Walmart would fight hard and start investing aggressively in their online strategy, which they've already done. So let's see. But this is the key takeaway from the case study, that assuming the current growth rates and the graph, Amazon is projected to surpass Walmart's revenues in the next 12 years. So that's for you to get an overall understanding of internet retail and what are its potential, not only in India but across the globe. Now, as promised, as the webinar says it, we will take you through some tips and tricks for selling online. Now, please bear in mind that we are discussing e-commerce as a whole, which has a lot of things within it. So we'll be able to cover only very few tips in each section. So if you're selling online, what does it take? If you are an entrepreneur willing to start online, or you already have an online business, you will be familiar with all the tags on your screen right now. If you're selling online, you need very good merchandising. Now that's the basic of any business model, not just e-commerce. You need to have a very good presence on search engines. You need to have a very good UI. You need to have archivists, site speed, experience, social media, a lot of things, right? So if we have to demystify all of these words which are thrown at us, broadly, in a nutshell, this is what it takes. So all the tag words or all the clouds, all the tags that you see here can be broadly summarized into these three things: merchandising, website experience, and marketing. Okay, so let's look at each one of these and the tips or the key takeaways from this webinar is going to be how do you be the best in each of these sections, because these three are the pillars on which your e-commerce business will stand. And our objective of this webinar is to give you a few takeaways in each of these areas. So let's start with the very first thing, probably the most important one, which is merchandising. So this forms the base of your e-commerce business model. Whenever you're actually selling online, you're doing it retailing, you need to have a product or a service to offer to the end consumer. Now, when you do this, I cannot emphasize enough how important this is, because this forms the ground floor of your business model. Technology, internet marketing, all are secondary to this. So whenever you're launching a product or a service in the market, it has to solve either of the below problems. So it has to cater to either of these three needs. So let's look at each one of them. The first one is availability. So example, high-end fashion products have a very good demand in Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities. Now that's because people who are staying in Mumbai and Delhi have easy access to malls and high-end showrooms. However, when you go around Tier 2, Tier 3 cities, these products are not that accessible. Now please bear in mind that these Tier 2, Tier 3 cities have very good spending power, and the only thing keeping them away from buying these products is the availability. So e-commerce is trying to solve that problem. If your product or your service can cater this need, then it's a thumbs up. The second one is price. The second need or the problem that you're supposed to address, or your product is supposed to address, is the price. Now this is one of the major factors for structured categories like electronics and books. That's why you'll see that these are the leading categories when it comes to purchasing online. So websites like Flipkart gained a lot of popularity because of introduction of these categories. The reason why it's easier to purchase such products because they're easier to buy, you have all the information available, and it's going to be the same no matter whether you buy it online or offline. So if you were to buy an iPhone 5, you can be rest assured that whether you buy it on an online site or on an offline Chroma or an eZone store, it's going to be the same thing. So that's one need that your e-commerce product or service needs to taper. And the third one is going to be convenience. So again, the product or the service that you're offering can taper either of these needs, or maybe multiple of these needs, but one is definitely essential for your e-commerce business to sustain. The last one is convenience. So this is one of the drivers for low ticket items which are easy to choose, and you do not have to do much of research. So this includes mobile recharges, utility bills. This is all a part of convenience on the go. So if your product or service is able to solve this problem, then great. And that's again a thumbs up. So that's about merchandising. If I had to give you two things to take away from this, it's the problems that your e-commerce product or service needs to solve. That's one, and secondly, that you need to have a very firm grip and a firm grip on your purchasing. So it's a famous quote by Kishore Biyani of Future Group that you cannot control the selling price of your product. That's controlled by the customer. The only thing that is controlled by the retailer is the buying price. So that's one thing you have to invest in, and that's one thing that you have to invest significantly in is being able to purchase goods at a very good price. So that's about merchandising. Now let's look at the second element for a successful e-commerce website. It's the website experience. So within website experience, we'll give you a few tips which we believe through our experience we have learned are essential. Fast websites equal to increased revenue. Now, in a recent case study done in this year, 1 of 4 people will abandon a web page that takes more than 4 seconds to load. So as a young and an educated audience, most of the people purchasing online, as mentioned before, will log into multiple websites, and they'll open multiple websites, multiple tabs of different websites before selecting on one. Now, if this user ends up opening 4 tabs and one of them takes more than 4 to 6 seconds to load, he is definitely going to close that one. So website speed is again a very underrated factor when it comes to shopping online, and it's directly proportional to the revenue. So this should be one of your primary focus. Again, mobile should be a part of your core technology strategy, because this is one medium through which you can increase the lifetime value of the customers. More and more brands have started to offer native applications for their product. This increases your LTV because the application icon is always lying on your user's mobile screen, and that's a good way of reminding the user of your existence. Every time he's looking for a gift, your icon is right there on his mobile screen, which helps increasing the LTV. This is not just assumption, but a feeling which is actually turned true, and this is being told through analyzing of actual data. So again, mobile should be a part of your core strategy. This is one interesting study by Fleury in January 2013. It's seen that in the last year, from December 2011 to 2012, the growth in time spent per shopping app category grew by 525%. So people have started to spend more time on retailer apps since last year, and which has been very beneficial for the retailers. So this should be a part of your core strategy. This is what people are using mobile for. They're using mobile for price comparison, online marketplace. They're using it for daily deals, and you can see how each of these categories has grown significantly in the last 2 years. The last section of amongst the 3 pillars that we discussed is your marketing. Now, once you have the website live, you have the merchandise or the product or the service, you need to bring it to the audience. So this is done by marketing your website through digital marketing means, and this is probably again one of the important pillars of your online marketing strategy. So social media should be one of your core strategies. This is nothing new. You'll hear it in every other forum. The only thing that we feel is important is start using social to increase engagement with the end audience. Use it as a customer service tool. So use your Facebook page to answer queries of customers, resolve problems. You can also use a Facebook comment on your website for such things. And finally, understanding your target audience. Now, Facebook offers capturing of demographic data of your customers, which can then be leveraged to plan future strategies. So again, this is what you should be using your social media strategies for. And more importantly, invest in measuring return on investment in social media. So majority of the people are investing blindly on social media, but this is one complaint, or this is one grievance that you'll hear throughout, is the inability of their marketing partner to be able to relate their marketing spends directly with their return on investment, with their revenues. So this is a very interesting quote by John Van Meckert. Half the money I spend on marketing is wasted. The problem is I don't know which half. So this is one problem that you should try to solve. There are many tools available online. You may have to research a little bit or rely on an expert digital marketing partner to be able to do this, because that's when you can actually decrease the cost per acquisition and focus your spendings and efforts on things that get you the maximum ROI. Finally, SEO is no more a process courtesy to Google's Penguin and Panda updates. This is primarily because Google and other search engines have become increasingly intelligent. Initially, for those of you who are aware and who have been doing marketing exercises or been involved in it, you may know until 2 years ago, SEO was more like a link building exercise, or people would go about doing link exchanges and recipes and forum submissions This is what SEO was initially, but SEO has completely changed, and as of today, it's an outcome of the content that you produce. We don't even call it SEO anymore. It's more about content marketing. When I say content marketing, it means producing good quality, genuine content, and earning editorial endorsements for it. By editorial endorsements, I mean winning organic, natural links to the website or the content that you produce, or winning likes on Facebook or retweets on Twitter. Basically, getting social media influence. That's what content marketing is about. So your SEO strategy should revolve around a good blog and marketing the content within it. So this is how online marketing has changed, courtesy to Penguin and Panda updates of Google. So this is one very important takeaway from this entire webinar. So as mentioned before, we could only go through a couple of tips under each section because the webinar's topic is quite broad. So we have tried to jot down only the points which we think are major and not so obvious ones in the three sections that we discussed. Now I would like to end the webinar by introducing you to some of the innovations in internet retail, and these are the things that you can take inspiration from. So innovations in internet retail. Now Amazon recently, not recently, a couple of years ago, released an application on mobile which will help users scan a barcode of a product and match the same products on Amazon.com. They give a price guarantee that no matter what barcode you scan, we'll be able to offer the same product for a cheaper price. And that application was soon banned because people started going to grocery stores and scanning barcodes and finally purchasing from Amazon. So again, though the application got banned, I thought it's worth mentioning here because it was an interesting innovation which got significant influence enough to get banned. Again, I don't know how many of you are familiar with it, but this is again an interesting concept where you can actually have an attachment to your smartphone or your tablet device where you can use it to swipe your credit card and debit cards. This is especially important for high value items when people are actually purchasing mobile phones and other high ticket items and they opt for cash on delivery. They may not have that much cash handy at their home. So this is again one innovation which has helped or which can be used for a cash on delivery payment method. So users can actually swipe their cards on receiving the item at their doorstep. The next one on this is again a different way of a marketplace. This is a different model, a reverse marketplace model, if I may call it so. So we are all familiar of eBay's auction prices, where sellers can actually go list an item for an X amount and invite buyers to bid on that product. This is the same marketplace model which was Offer Me a Trip, which was first started by offermeatrip.com, where they actually reversed the marketplace model. So instead of the sellers going online and offering a trip or a ticket, the buyer who's interested in a holiday would go about listing their dream vacation, describing their dream vacation, how many days do they want to spend in which country and which location, and how do they want to plan. So they plan their travel, and then booking agents and travel agents go and bid for their business. So since the model is reversed, the lowest bid will obviously win the client or win the customer who has listed this trip. So I think it's very interesting, a marketplace model where you're actually putting the buyer in power and helping the sellers to get more leads by going and hunting for these buyers. Okay, so I don't know how many of you know this, but a lot of retail stores in India have already introduced this, and a lot of online e-commerce websites also, including Lenskart and Zoe.com, where people can actually sit in front of their webcam and project the garment or the accessory on themselves and then share it online, take feedback of the consumers, and so it goes like this. If I were to purchase something online, I would try that shirt on myself and then share it on my Facebook page, ask for recommendations or ask for opinion from my friends, and if they all like it, then I'll go and purchase it. This model is not to generalize, but this model has particularly gained a lot of influence amongst the female audience, because one of the major reasons that they buy is to actually show it off to their friends. I'm not generalizing, but this has been our observation. So it's an interesting model for women and female audience to go online, shop something, share on their Facebook or Twitter pages, get a little bit of feedback, and probably even make their peers jealous, and finally make a satisfied purchase. So I think that's all for today's webinar. Thank you all for this webinar, and I hope you enjoyed the webinar. I realize I went through it very quickly because I was afraid that there's so many slides and too little time to crunch it in. So in case you guys have any questions, my email ID is given right over there. In case you need a copy of this presentation, I'll be happy to send it across. And thank you again for attending this webinar. We'll be open for the next 5 minutes. If in case you have any questions, you have an interface in front of you where you can type in the questions, and I'll try my best to answer those. Before you guys go away, there's an upcoming webinar on how to balance bring your own device benefits and risks by Mr. Kaura on 28th of August. That's next Wednesday, same time, 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. So those of you who are interested can attend and pass the information to your friends. Thank you again. We are open for questions for the next 5 minutes. If in case you have any, please feel free to type them in the window provided in front of your screens.
Let's begin with the question answer round. The first question is from Pratik. He says that internet retail is good only for FMCG products. How can you improve it for the other products in different fields as well?
Okay, that question was from
Mr. Pratik.
Pradeep. Pradeep, right?
Pratik.
Okay. So, Pradeep, I would like to answer that question. Firstly, I would like to actually argue on internet retail is good only for FMCG products, because in fact, in India, it's actually the other way around, because FMCG companies are struggling to make their products available online. Now, I'll tell you the reason why, because the profit margins in FMCG are relatively low, and it becomes difficult for companies to actually supply this off the country. So and the shelf life of such products is relatively low, and obviously they need to be handled with care. So companies are actually struggling to make FMCG products online, and I can say that with some authority, because we are working with Future Group, which is India's largest retailer, and they are working very hard on the strategy to be able to make this available online. In fact, it's easier to make the other products available online because they're easier to handle and they're not fragile. When it comes to FMCG products, insurance companies don't even insure the transit, because if you're actually carrying oil, you not only risk the oil bottle getting open in your way of transit, but also the risk of damaging the other transit, other goods being carried along with it.
The next one's from Kamal. He asks, since we're talking about e-commerce, can you please speak about the scope of reward-based crowdfunding in India?
Shashank, we'll have to repeat the question. So,
yeah, sure. Kamal asks, can you speak about the scope of reward-based crowdfunding in India?
Did you say crowdfunding?
Yes.
Okay. So yes, sir, there are very famous business models in the US, and some of them are being replicated in India as well, where entrepreneurs get a platform. Kickstarter happens to be one of them. You guys, since I believe a lot of you are entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs, you should definitely go and check out these websites. This is again a very interesting platform for entrepreneurs to share their ideas, and for other people to get inspired from such ideas. If they like these ideas, people are willing to contribute. Now, the crowdsourcing or the crowdfunding has made it relatively simpler for people to actually go and make this donation, because it's barely a donation. So every time in a crowdfunding network, if I were to go ahead and donate a certain amount, the starter or the author of the project promises me some goodies in return on the launch of that project. So people are becoming increasingly confident, and it's more like a purchase rather than anything else. So that's again a very good platform for you guys to explore. So Shashank, would that be all, or do we have any more questions?
The next one's a request from Vishwamohan. He says he belongs to a Tier 4 city. What kind of e-commerce site would you recommend to him?
What kind of e-commerce website would I recommend him?
Yeah, he owns a software firm.
He owns a
software firm.
He owns a software firm.
Yes.
See, that actually depends on what category are you shopping for. If you're shopping for electronics and books, the obvious choice remains India's largest, biggest retailer, which is Flipkart. In my personal opinion, and from we've seen 99 labels and Fashion and You and the newcomers like Shop 19 gaining increasing popularity in Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities, because I'll repeat myself, 99 labels, fashionandyou.com and shop19.com are gaining too much influence in Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities, because they're offering very good quality products at reasonable prices, and those are some websites that you should definitely check out.
There are a lot of questions here, and the next one I would pick from Mr. Sugat Samrat. He asks, can you suggest any tool or software which would help a retail company in e-commerce?
Any tools which will help an e-commerce company?
Yes.
Okay, that's actually a very, very broad question, and there are tons of tools available. When it comes to, let me start with, I think let me divide that into 3 sections. So when it comes to merchandising, for me as a merchandising manager, if I were a merchandising manager, I will definitely use price comparison engines and web crawlers to be able to determine the prices at which the other people are selling it. And I'm also going to use social, although it's not really a tool, but to analyze the demand of the products that I have to offer. When it comes to technology, there are tools like Crazy Egg, you can write it down, Crazy Egg and Kiss Metrics. These are basically very high advanced analytics tools, and Crazy Egg is actually a heat map tool. So basically what it does is it actually gathers information from the users of your website and gives you a heat map. A heat map is something which will be overlaid on your website design and tell you which are the spots which are most clicked on, or which are the spots which are most forward upon. So you then know what your user is actually looking at and what spots are important, which will help you decide the placements of each of these buttons. That may not be a very accurate explanation, but if you just go on their website, you'll know what I'm talking about. So that's from the technology side. Kiss Metrics and Crazy Egg are 2 tools that I would like to recommend. Pingdom.com, which is again a free tool to analyze your website load times, is again very important. And a tool which is a tool for developers is a tool called Wiseflow by Yahoo, which helps you analyze the elements and gives you recommendations to make your website faster. So it helps you analyze the elements slowing down your website and gives you recommendations on how you can make it faster. So that we covered merchandising, we covered technology. The last one is online marketing. So when it comes to online marketing, SEOmoz.com, it's now moz.com, offers a suite of tools which is essential for any online marketing to carry out their online activities. So they offer a suite of tools. It's not just one tool, but a bunch of tools that the company offers and is used by majority of the people out there. So that's again a very interesting tool that you should check out.
Neeraj has the next question for you, Amit. He says he has read a lot about bad service and high failed transaction rates by payment gateways for e-commerce companies in India. What, according to you, is the current scenario?
Okay, so actually it's kind of true, but payment gateways have done a lot on their end to improve it, and even the retailers, the online retailers, are becoming more smarter. So the websites that we actually implement has more than one payment gateway, and because obviously even the deal that you have cracked with each individual payment gateway provider is going to be different. So some payment gateways providers are going to offer you a good deal on credit card, debit cards, and some are going to give you a good deal on net banking. So what we do is basically ask the user to select their payment gateway option, and based on his selection, we redirect him to that payment gateway. Now this actually helps reduce the load on each payment gateway. Besides, if one payment gateway fails, we automatically take it. So once the user returns and we get a flag from the payment gateway provider that it was unsuccessful, we actually redirect him to the next payment gateway and ask him to enter the credentials again. Now I do realize it's a little inconvenience for the user to enter his details again. However, it is any day better than losing that customer.
The next question is from Shiv Kabra. He asks, which is the best option to sell your products online? Is it via your own website or through other companies like Flipkart, Jabong, etc.? Or should you go for both the options?
Shiv, a very good question, I would say. In fact, if you're a startup, then I would obviously recommend that you start off with a marketplace like eBay or strike a deal with Jabong or strike a deal with Snapdeal to be able to sell your products. Now, this is a very interesting model that many of the retailers are applying online before investing significantly on their technology. However, Shiv, in your first year, you'll obviously get much more sales on these marketplaces than on your own website because of the popularity of these websites. However, you should know that your own website is again inevitable, and the kind of analytics and the demographics that you get from your own website is something that the marketplaces cannot get you. Moreover, you shouldn't be so dependent on other marketplaces because when we actually deal with companies like Jabong and Snapdeal, we've seen our retailers. So it has to be both. Your strategy needs to include both. Your online website should be, it is absolutely essential. And you probably will get more sales through these marketplaces, but you should know that we've seen that once they place your banner or they feature you in some kind of a sale, you'll end up selling like 400 to 800 pieces within a period of few hours. However, that just shows that how dependent your sales are on a marketplace like that, because it's purely their choice on what sales they want to feature, right? So your strategy needs to include both, and you should seek ways to gradually increase the traffic and the conversions on your own website as well. Shashank, are there any more? Shashank, are there any more questions?
We have the last two questions coming up. This one's from Julian. In India, it's still a big deal for people to buy things online. In such a scenario, what is the scope of e-retailing in Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities?
Beautiful question. This question was from?
Julian.
Julian, I will highly recommend checking out websites like edabba.com and bigbazaardirect.com. Now you will see that the e-commerce penetration in India is only 1.8%, which means that out of the 100 crore population that we have, only 1.8 crores have transacted online, right? So when Flipkarts and the Jabongs are trying to compete to get a bigger share of this 1.8%, some very intelligent innovations in e-commerce are trying to taper the remaining 98%. And you can actually go on the website. What they're doing is they're actually, so Big Bazaar Direct has actually gone ahead and franchised their biggest retail format. For those of you who don't know what Big Bazaar is, it's the Walmart equivalent of India, the largest retailer in the country. They've gone ahead, they have a customer base of 25 to 30 crores, and their vision is to reach the next 25 to 30 crores through the help of these franchisees. In fact, they've just recently launched, they are our client, and so we build the whole technology for them. What they've done is they've gone ahead and signed up franchisees in small cities. They've already started with the pilot in Nagpur. What they've done is they've handed over tablets to these franchisees who already have a business. Could be an insurance agent or could be an existing grocery store who wants to increase the inventory available. So how it works is a guy can come to your grocery store, he can look at your selection, and if he wants to look at a wider selection, the franchisee will hand over the Big Bazaar tablet to him. He will select the product, pay the cash to the franchisee, and Big Bazaar will then deliver it to their houses. Now, how does this change the traditional internet retail? Is because you have a face. So Indian consumers are very used to transacting and giving the money to a person that they know, who has a presence nearby, so that if in case something goes wrong, they have a caller to catch. So what the franchisee earns is a commission in between, and obviously he gets rid of the overhead of investing in so much inventory and the risk of that not getting depleted. And Big Bazaar in the end has reduced retail costs and is able to reach to a larger user base. So again, those are some very interesting business models which are e-commerce models tweaked to suit the Indian audience.
We have the last question for the day coming up from Gurneet Singh.
This time you have to be a little louder.
We have the last question coming up for the day from Gurneet Singh. He says, with the growth of e-commerce in India, the coupons and deals industry grows along with it. Well, what is the future of such coupons and deals sites in India?
That's a very hard question for me to answer because I wouldn't be the right person to answer that question. But from what we've seen is the deals and the coupons market has a very limited, or not limited, but has a limit to which it can grow. So that's why you can see that companies like Groupon are struggling to expand their business further, and Snapdeal quickly adapted to this change and has now become a pure play e-commerce internet retailer. So it started off as a deals and a coupons website, a replica of Groupon in India, and after 2 to 3 years of successful operation, it started moving its focus and diverting its attention to becoming a pure play internet retail website. So then again, it's too early to be too early to comment what the future of deals and coupon websites lie, because obviously if every other website is offering deals and coupons, it actually defeats the purpose of having a deal or a coupon website, because it is supposed to be exclusive. Secondly, on the other hand, you can see companies like Coupon Dunia or mobile recharge websites doing very well by offering coupons in return of the recharges that you do. The way they make money is a certain money is given to them on every recharge by the mobile service provider, by the telecom service provider, and they also act as a lead generation platform for vendors to list their coupons online. So that is one model which has been increasingly successful and getting a lot of popularity.
Well, that's about it with the questions. Thank you very much, Amit, for that interesting session. Thank you to all our attendees for participating in the webinar. We are glad that the questions kept coming in, but due to a lack of time, we are unable to answer them all. Please do send in your feedback and suggestions to us at eclub@nenglobal.org. Also, if you found the session interesting, feel free to blog or post about it. The recorded version of the webinar will be available on our website eclub.nenonline.org by tomorrow. Also, join us for our next webinar on emerging opportunities with mobile applications by Mr. Siddhartha Jain, the CEO of Spice Labs, on 21st of August at 3 p.m. Thank you once again and have a nice evening.